This episode of the Long Run Podcast is sponsored by Skechers.
Good evening and welcome to the Long Run, live streaming podcast brought to you by Fordy Runs and the running community and sponsored by Skechers. So head over to skechers.co.uk to check out all of their latest gear. Also, you can get 10% off at the start of fitness using the code Fordy Runs. And tonight I'm joined by Chris, Toby and Ben, and we're going to be talking about favourite distances, but not necessarily for races, but training instead, because we're all most of us are in the midst of marathon training and mixing things up in terms of runs and distances. So we're going to have a bit of a chat about that. But before we get into that, let's see how everyone is. Chris, should we go to you first? Because you look a bit grumpy, and then we're going to get Toby to
grumpy. You're lucky I'm here. I've got the raging up. I'll just give it up.
What, with life?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to be miserable. So if you're out on your run, you're going to listen to me now for the next 60 minutes being miserable, and I'm not going to talk about running because I'm not running. So I've just got the I'm the worst person when I'm not running. I am the worst person. I warned Nick this week. I said I'm going to be miserable. Just pre-warn you, I am going to be murder to live with. So I feel stressed. I feel annoyed. I feel aggravated. My anxiety's up. I just feel like I could lose the plot in any second. I feel unbalanced and ready to explode. So you've all been warned. And I might start naming names tonight as well. I'm in that sort of mood.
Have you got a list?
I've got a list of people but shall I tell you what? Let's keep it, try and be kind of polite to people. I've got a list of things that we need to do in terms of admin, even though you're meant to be in charge of the admin. I've got to firstly say that after this, we are all recording the Great North Run special that's going to come out next Friday. Okay. So we've got a load of questions from social media today, and we're going to deal with that. We're going to do it a slightly different twist. So make sure you tune in. If you're doing the Great North Run, which is the biggest half marathon in the world, if you know what it is, it's 60,000 people going to be in Newcastle next week, myself and the team included. But we're going to be recording a special like we did for last year, and everybody was so lovely. When we was up there last year, everyone was coming, just listen to the pod. Thanks very much, brother. So we're going to do the same again. We've got the shakeout run, but unfortunately it's now sold out. So sorry about that. Thanks to everybody who did sell that out in 20 minutes. That blew my mind. So thank you very much for that. If you're coming to the Berlin Marathon, you can still get on that. Again, we've limited numbers. So again, sorry about that. Me and Ben have got to take care of you. So that could be absolute carnage.
God, help him.
There was something else I needed to talk about. I've got to give a shout out to Monica. What's Monica's actual business called?
MFB Osteo.
If you're in Hertfordshire or Essex, or even if you're in Scotland and you need a good osteo, right, and you're a runner, come down to see Monica. She's an absolute legend. She will beat the living daylights out of you, but chances are it'll fix you. So I'm not just saying that. She is the best osteo I've ever had. Forget your physios and all that sort of stuff. The woman is a magician. So I'm just putting that out there.
Also, just on that, she put a post up an hour or so ago saying she's got 20% off for the next 5 days, I think. So I would highly recommend if anyone's in marathon.
20% off? Yeah. She didn't mention that to me. I'm keeping her afloat at the moment. And then the last thing that we need to discuss, because I just think is the big half T-shirt that I saw and the medal that sort of came out today. I don't know if you've even seen that yet, but I don't think it's worth queuing for 3 days when you finish your race to get it. I just think sack it off and go home.
Well, hold on. Mm-hmm. Wait on that. Is it being your medal is being handed to you by Fordy Runs volunteers. So you get
hang on. Do we get the medal first then before the big walk?
Yeah, you get your medal, don't you? And then you
get the medal. Love the medal. Brilliant medal. Get the medal. But sack the T-shirt off. Ain't worth it. You've got about a 3-hour walk to go and get it. And I think that there's been a mess up, apparently. Some people have not got things on their badges and all this stuff. But yeah. And I think that's probably about it. Without getting into any trouble, I think I've done well there. Yes, I think that's all my admin done. Admin.
All right, thanks. Glad.
You're welcome.
Also, if you're on Facebook, please do click on the link, the chat restream link, so we can see who you are when you're messaging. If you're on YouTube as well, good evening. There is loads of people messaging already, so please keep your comments and questions all coming in. Chris has got his hand up again.
Did we mention what we're talking about tonight?
Yeah, you just weren't listening to me.
ADHD.
Go on.
Yep, thanks very much. Bye.
I'll repeat it again, though, just for you. We're talking about our favourite training distances. So not races, but because most of us are running and training for various different...
halves, 10K, whatever you're training for. This is relevant to everybody. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't have to be. It's not all about marathons. And tonight's show, I promise you, to the person who complained, we will try our best not to allow this to be a mess. Who was in charge of last week's show, because I put them firmly to blame for last week. Was I actually in charge last week? Seriously? Was that
Toby.
Yeah, I think so.
Was I in charge? That's why it was a mess. So whoever commented, to be honest with you, I don't blame you. It was a mess, because if I was in charge, there's no surprise that it was a complete and utter mess. So.
You had put your hand up about 26 times in the first 3 minutes.
Well, that's what you get. If I've been away, that's what you get. Tonight, I'm not going to put my hand up because I'm just so miserable. Carry on.
Right, Ben, this is on you now to bring us back up.
God.
That was 6 minutes of awful.
I mean, I'm worried if I start talking about running, he's going to kick me out the.
He sent me a message today. Telling me he's done 6 miles. Why would you send someone who's on the brink, on the brink of a breakdown because he can't run? Oh yes, I had 6 miles done today, hero. Oh, by the way, great week, 45 miles. Just what I wanted to hear. I'm looking at that, thinking this is really cheering me up.
6.6, just FYI. But
not quite according to Strava.
Oh yeah, 6.59. I did get lost a couple of times.
How many were you meant to do?
The route was 5.95. I did get lost.
Stop talking about this.
You did a mile of getting lost.
I did a mile of getting lost and stung by nettles. If it makes you feel better.
Yeah,
it is catching, but I couldn't use your trick of spitting on it. It was on my stomach.
Yeah, they all started looking at me weird the other day because I got stung, so I spat on my arm, and they were like, "So you spit on your arm? You could wee on it, but that could be difficult if you're running."
Or the fact you got stung 3 times.
Yeah, I did keep getting stung by the same bush 3 times. That's how much of an idiot I am.
It was like Groundhog Day. It was amazing. Sorry, that's fine. So yeah, good week. We smashed out 21 miles last Saturday, which was lovely. 7 3-mile loops, which was nice to have a bit of company while we were going. And then steady week. Yeah. Maintaining the yoga. Haven't done it as yet tonight. That will be post the GNR pre-record, and then park run tomorrow and big half on Sunday. Looking forward to that.
Are you actually looking forward to
it? What, the actual run?
Yeah.
I mean, what's not to love? Tunnel and cobbles.
And me.
And Chris. Oh, are we running together? Are you able to keep up?
It's just not nice. That's it. I'm going to go and get a medication.
2-footed, sorry. Yeah, I like the big half. It's London. It's just the bit over once you get over Tower Bridge, and I find the last little bit a little bit soulless. But
do you mean the last half of the race?
Because I didn't want to say that, but yes, the last half of the race. First 10K are great, second 10K less so. But then we have a meet up afterwards in the pub, which.
Oh yeah, where is that? Tell everyone what's going on with that. I ended before.
Yes. So before the event details are on Facebook. There's a group picture at 8 and 8:15, I believe, and then meeting afterwards in the Gypsy Moth, which is just by the finish line, if I remember correctly, from last year. So you can cheer some fellow people across the line and then come into the pub for a well-earned refreshment, I would say.
There we go. All right, good. And then Toby, you there? You alive?
Yeah, I don't know if I've got to try and be cheery if Chris is the grumpy one. I'm kind of worried if we're going to have to swap roles.
The first comment today was, I wonder if Toby will grace us with his usual wit.
No. I mean,
the best thing though, right? The highlight of the week really was Toby doing 20 miles on Saturday for no reason at all, and actually speeding up while Si's trying to slow down and actually speeding up. There's absolutely no reason why he has to do 20 miles. And he just he just sped up on Si, and Si was just couldn't handle it. And the boy does no training. It's just rocked up 20 miles, and then like finished like. I mean, you said he ain't done nothing, wasn't it?
I thought we were going to have a different highlight of the week, to be honest.
What was it?
Oh, you thought it was going to be the junior session?
No, I know what the highlight of the week. I had This is honest, straight up. Yeah, this week I had the best ever experience with Uber. I was on the train and I got on my phone and I thought, oh yeah, and then all of a sudden I got off and there was Toby standing there, and we got on his electric milk float and he took me home. It was the best Uber ride I've ever had. Best, and it was free as well. Didn't have to pay for it.
No, I just haven't sent the bill yet.
Did you get a 5-star review though?
I didn't leave him a review. No, I just spat in his car and walked off.
I'm surprised you're allowed in his car. Were you on the dog blanket or were you allowed in the front?
No, I was allowed in the front. Well, saying that, there was all stuff over the seat and I just sat on it.
Well, you sat on my hand while I was trying to take the
I did sit on his hand. It's because you've got to remember, right, this week I've been walking around like an old man. Don't say anything, Ben. And I've been walking around like an old man, right? And it's genuinely been a struggle to walk this week. To get in and out of vehicles is something I've not come accustomed to. And I almost fell into his car. And he had his hand down at the same point. Brilliant he was. So technically he touched my rear end. Toby, did you enjoy it? I mean, we better move on.
I was actually asking Toby how he is.
Oh.
But you interrupted him.
Shock. Mess. It's like a mess again.
What? Who? Me? I'm all right. I'm just doing
I
don't even know if I run this week. I can't actually tell you. I ran Sunday. I did bike ride on Monday.
No one cares.
I do. There's a comment about it already, actually.
No one cares.
I want to talk about biking.
And someone's just asking, actually, before we move on from you, you're wearing a hat. Does that mean you've had a dodgy haircut?
Yeah, let's see your barnet, Toby.
No.
Yeah,
I have had a haircut, but it's not actually dodgy. I'm just being lazy.
No surprise there then.
Exactly.
All right. And so this weekend, though, are all three of you at the big half, aren't you?
Yeah.
Shuffling your way around. All right.
Toby's filming. Ben's keeping me company.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah,
everything
you can
I
keep
possibly
the role.
want. I've got 3 weekends out of 4 in September with you. I realised today.
One of them's a weekend. No, 2 of them are weekends.
Exactly. I was going to say to your Facebook post of goals for September, survive.
Yeah. You've got to just hope that I start running again. Otherwise, I'm going to be the worst person to be around. Just as a heads up.
Well, listen, let's actually talk about when you were able to run.
Many moons ago.
What, 3 days ago?
Yeah.
Listen, it's not that bad.
It is that bad. I don't think you realise.
I do. I've had your medical report from Monica.
Huh?
I've had your medical report from Monica.
Have you spoken to her?
Yeah.
What's she saying?
I'm not telling you.
No. Is it bad?
I'll let you know afterwards.
It's not good. No, to be fair, today. Well, no, go back a step. The point at which Toby gave me a bollocking about running, I knew that I should stop. After Tuesday, when he looked at me up and down in the car park and just laid into me and walked off, I thought, you know what, I might have to stop running because Toby's never given me a bollocking about nothing. And it was bad. I could hardly walk. And again, it goes back to that back issue that I've been fighting. I've rested and that's not worked. I've done everything. I've honestly asked the girls. I've been stretching like a madman, doing proper like stretching sessions and everything, right? And that's just not helped either. But hopefully, touch wood. I saw Monica again yesterday. She absolutely gave me a pasting, but she did all like needles, cupping, and all this like proper stuff that she does, which is amazing, right? I'm not just saying this. She's amazing what she does because she understands the runner. And touch wood today, I feel I'm walking pain-free on my left-hand side. I still got a dull ache in the back, but I think that's where she beat the living daylights out of having stuck needles in it. But in fairness, today I feel a little bit better and I feel slightly more hopeful than I did yesterday, where I literally walked into her office thing and just went, well, actually, the words I used I can't repeat on here, but I said basically in a not so nice way, I'm not in a very good way, and you need to fix me because I was just I think it's interesting. I don't know if anybody else can relate. I think when you're so used to running, don't we go? I run 6 times a week, right? And the main reason, 19% of the reason I run, apart from hanging out with like Toby and Ben, and maybe admin when she's not being horrible to me, is because for my mental health, I genuinely, I don't medicate for my ADHD, even though they want to give me these drugs, because usually my running keeps me relatively on the straight and narrow, right? You guys all know that I go sometimes up and down, but usually I can get myself out of it. But when I'm not running, I am murder.
Yeah.
Like literally, I am on the brink of going into a bottomless pit that I don't want to go into. And I find myself coming up with brilliant ideas. I just ask Hayden, poor guy. I've had 5 of them this week that I've said that we need to do, and he's just like, oh, Jesus Christ. So yeah, I think I don't know if anyone can relate to it, but for somebody, I know it sounds silly, but it's only been 3 days. But the point is, it's not only been 3 days. It's since I got back from holiday and not being able to run to a level that I usually run to or I usually train to in terms of mileage and consistency. It's causing me real mental health issues, and that's just being straight up and honest as always on here. And I'm having to deal with that, and I don't deal with that very well, as you all can agree, because I think I can't go to the gym. That's the other thing, right? So it's not like I can just go, right, I can't run, I'm going to go swimming, because that's going to aggravate it, right? Or too much to Toby's delight, I can't go biking because it will irritate. It's one of those things where you literally have to stop doing everything, and that's not good for me. That's really not good for me. And that's genuinely why I've been struggling this week and for the last week and a half, because it's just I'm not at the level that I'm used to running, and the injury that I've got myself into is through no fault of my own. Technically, it's laying on a stupid bed by these idiots out in Mallorca, who, at the moment, they're like my number one on hit list. If I could get a plane and go over there and really shout and scream at them, I would. But it's not feasible because I don't like flying. But it genuinely is that's the issue. And I think, I don't know whether people can relate to that or not. Man, I've just got to try and battle for it. And hopefully the work that Monica's doing and everything else and all that sort of stuff, it just helps me out. Because I need to get back running. That's the thing for me. It's not. I don't care about marathons. I don't care about half marathons. I don't care about how fast I run. I say that all the time, even though these idiots on YouTube go, "Oh, we'll talk about how fast you run. All you run is times." I really don't care how fast I run. For me, running is about my mental health and keeping me safe for myself, right? And keeping me level pegged. So, if I'm not running, or I know that I can't run, it's even worse. It's that fear of, because then you start worrying about stuff, you start thinking about stuff, and I can't. As you can tell, I'm a mess. So somebody needs to help me out, Ben.
Well,
Sunday, I've got great plans.
Yeah, what is it?
I mean, that would ruin the surprise.
Should we run topless? I think we need
no,
to do something stupid.
no. Toby's already told you what happens if you do that.
Oh, yeah, Toby banned me from running topless.
I think you should keep Mo Farah company. It's his last London race.
We're going to sing
I've got
to
good
him the
news
whole
for
way.
Mo. I've got good news for Mo. He's doing the Great North Run, isn't he?
No, he's doing big half.
In big half.
Is he doing the Great North Run? Because I've got some good news today. My media pass came through for the Great North Run. Me and Mo are going to be hanging out again. He's going to love that. Can you imagine me at the start?
I think he's just cancelled.
Yeah,
Sunday's now his last race.
Ever.
Yeah, so I'm going to be hanging out with Mo at the Great North Run. He's going to absolutely love that. Brilliant.
Good news there, though, Ben. You get a bit of a rest.
Yes, a weekend off.
Yeah, but last year I went into the media pen and Eilish and all that were there, right? And Toby, I was in there, for about 3 minutes? I thought, I don't like it in here. I got all nervous, got all anxious because there was all like serious people in there. I thought, nah, this ain't for me. So I went.
We needed you out anyway. We needed you out because that's when we did the photo queue outside, remember? So Pen A, if anyone wants one, Great North Run, we'll just be there by the barrier. Get photos.
What? No, there. No, move on.
All right, look, let's actually move on. But firstly, there is some love for you coming through, people feeling your pain. So, and I mean, we do all wish you well, because I don't want messages at 7 o'clock in the morning telling me you've had a brilliant idea anymore. Just Toby, because actually none of them are brilliant.
I make you laugh, yeah. I made Hayden take a call today while he was on an airplane.
Poor guy.
Or getting tagged in a Facebook picture, right?
Mr.
Just
September.
sat at work going, what has he tagged me in now?
That's a good picture of you, by the way. But be fair, I think Ben looks good at the moment. He's done well with his strength. This is serious. This is good advice for everybody. I think listening to what Ben's done over the last, let's say, 12 weeks, Ben, getting himself in the gym, right? We always talk about strength and conditioning. And it doesn't matter whether you're couch to 5K or just running because, like me, mental health, whatever. But the work you're doing on yoga and the strength and conditioning, so let's say the strength side and the conditioning side combined, what a difference that has made to you in terms of, well, not necessarily just the way you look, the way you feel, but it's more about the way you feel about yourself, isn't it? And how you feel.
Yeah, for sure.
I would recommend it to everyone. I know we bang on about it and it's hard money for the gym and stuff like that, but Ben, you do your yoga at home, didn't you?
I do it in the front room, normally before this. But...
yeah, so there you go. And Alan's put some stuff in the Facebook group this week about kettlebells. Check that out. It's great. I think that's a fantastic thing. You know, you can get a kettlebell on Amazon for whatever they are. Do you know what I mean? Let's say 20 quid, absolute worst case. But, you know, you can do that in your front room. It's going to be cheaper than going to the gym. And if you're like me, you hate going to the gym because there's people like me there, then, you know, you can save that money and do that. And that's really going to help you in terms of your strength and conditioning. But, yeah, Mr. August up there, you wait. I think by the time we get to thingy in April, you're going to be ripped, brother. You're going to be ripped.
Calendar
Thanks very much.
Right?
Yeah, calendar. We're going to do a calendar. And that's just not a bad idea, you know. Should we do a calendar for Fordy Runs? Because you've got all these great pictures across from like all that amazing people like Miles and Kim take these amazing pictures. Should we do like a calendar? Would people buy it? Let me know in the comments or send an email. How do they get in touch with us, by the way?
Oh my God.
Whatever it is. But either way,
fordyruns.com/long run. God,
if you think we should do a calendar or something, let us know, because that's not a bad idea, is it?
Will you guarantee you won't do a topless picture if they?
No, I was going to say in December I could sneak in there, Toby, at the end. There could be a little cheeky little one in there.
Little Christmas treat.
Little Christmas one at the end with me.
Oh look, Kim's just messaged saying she's up for it, so that means that she's. I think.
Yeah, well, it's just an idea. I don't know. I'm just it's another brilliant idea. I just writing lists here. Carry on.
Right. Let's stop the list and let's actually talk about running. So, favorite training distances. What are they? Why do we like them?
Right. So let's give this some context, okay? Because I was talking to Ben and we was running. When was this, Ben? On Monday, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Monday. Well, I was running. That was when I was running. Actually, to be fair, it's more of a shuffle. But the I'm just nodding. I said to Ben, we was having a discussion about. We was just talking about like training in general. You know, it's like when you're on a run, and we were saying both of us actually how much we like doing 20-mile runs. Yeah. Now I know that's going to scare the living daylights out of a lot of people, right? If you're catch to 5K, 10K training, whatever, where you are in your journey, right? But we was talking in general because we love we both love doing the 20-mile run, and I'll tell you why when we get into it. And it made me think, you know, we talk a lot about our favorite race distances and stuff, but I think sometimes, you know, in training, there's those certain runs that you do that actually can be transformative if you really get into them and really enjoy them. They can really be a game changer. I know some people like them, for example, those tempo runs that go on for like 60 minutes and things like that. And I know one of my clients, Chris, he won't mind giving me a shout out. He really likes his sort of mile on, mile off long runs. You know, he really gets into them. And there's certain sessions, certain distances that I think as runners, and again, it doesn't matter where you are, even if you're doing a 10K training plan or you're just trying to increase some speed or whatever. There's certain sessions that I think we all enjoy, and that's why I want to discuss it really today to see what our sort of distances were, because somebody might go, oh, you know what, actually, I might try that, or you know, that's the sort of thing. So let's just give us some context. Oh, Bud's in the garden, hero. So, Admin, over to you.
What's my favourite?
Yeah, start you off. You go.
I've got two for different reasons. So I think I like a 10-mile run because I feel like it's a good distance. It gets you out. You can play around with it in terms of pace. You can either go at it, you can keep it really easy and keep it chatty. But it's a distance where I feel like I've worked, but also it hasn't taken up my whole day. I can still go and do a whole load of other things. Because, I mean, if you're really speedy, okay, you can run 20 miles in 2.5 hours, right? It's great. But for everyday runners, average runners, it's going to take more than that, and you can feel really exhausted afterwards. So I'm a fan of a 10-mile run. And I think some of my favourite runs, actually, I remember, Toby, when you came back from Tokyo, and you were a bit dead. You came out and did 10 miles with me and Petra. He's like, no.
I remember we went to Costa afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So yeah, I like a 10-mile. And the other one that I like, and maybe it's just because I had a really good run last weekend, is a 16-mile run. I dread on the training plans, I dread the 20-mile run. I said to my mum,
but why?
Ago, because there's just something about it that petrifies me. And I don't know what it is. I think it's, it's the longest one you're going to do. It's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. But it's also the bit where you go, that's the real kind of test of where you are, because it's the last real long run you do before you taper. And so if it goes well, you go on a high and you're like, great, I've got this. If it doesn't quite go to plan, the paranoia and the mind talk kicks in, and that's really, really hard to get over, right?
Have you ever thought about doing, instead of looking at it as a 20-mile run and saying you're going to go and run for 3.5 hours? And change the outlook of it. So you do 30 minutes easy, 30 minutes a little bit quicker, 30 minutes, and you put it down to time, and then whatever that punches out in terms of distance, you just deal with it. Because there's I mean, forget the science in terms of running over like 3.5 hours or whatever, right? But I'm just saying, would it work better to look at it maybe instead of the distance, to look at it as time for your next block?
Probably not for me, because I know that I need to hit that 20 mile to know that I'm done. And that is a point at which I go, I'm done now, and I can taper and I can stop, and I know that I've ticked that box, right? So, and that's important for me, and everybody's very different. I know people that will only train to time and they'll run 3 hours one weekend, 2 hours, 3.5, whatever it is. But for me, I know that I need to see my watch hit that 20. So whether it take me 3.5 hours, 4 hours, or 3 hours is irrelevant. It needs to say 20 miles on it. So yeah. So
that's your favourite too. So a 10-mile and a 16-mile.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
It's interesting actually, because I've gone off of some of the shorter ones. Not because they're not fun, and they are important that you do, right? I'm not saying that every week or every night you should go and run 10 miles or 16 miles and whatever, right? It's important to do the shorter stuff. But I think this time training has felt very different to the last 2 marathon training blocks I've done. And I think just upping some of those shorter ones has definitely helped as well. So, yeah. Okay. Anyway.
That makes sense. Speak up.
My distance varies, right?
No, so let's put to the side that you are an idiot, right? And you do know running and you like biking.
But it depends where the nearest like KFC is, because then I'll just run to that.
But I asked the question, if you was like a normal person, not speakout, so put your like normal hat on for just 3 seconds, what would be your favourite training distance? So I said to you, Toby, it's your birthday. You're going to go out with not me. You're going to go out with somebody that you like to run with. What distance do you want to run? Go.
I'm a couple as well. So I always went back in the day when I did a bit more running. I like the 4 miler.
Short one. 4 mile.
Yeah, I like the 4 miler. I thought you went out. I think it's a reasonable distance. You feel like you've gone somewhere. You can do whatever you want in that run. Maybe you do it easy or you just go out. But also, I think it makes you quite confident on the 5K.
Yeah.
Because 5K is 3.2, well, 3.1. So if you're then going to go for a 5K something, you go, well, I've done 4 miles. It's a mile less, pretty much. So I quite like a 4 miler as a short, on the shorter side, let's call it. And then I think I like an 18.
An 18?
Yeah, I don't know why. I think the number just sounds nice.
His favourite run is 18 miles because he likes the sound of it.
Yeah, I can't cope with you.
I think it's brilliant. To be fair, I think that's brilliant. There's no other reason than the fact
no value.
Great.
I like the number.
Sounds better than 20, doesn't it?
I'm with Toby now. I like doing stuff because it sounds.
16's like a halfway house. So I think I'll just go for an 18. I quite like that. But once I got my set on something, then I have to do it. That's kind of the problem I get.
Interesting. Okay. Ben.
Yeah. So I think from a half marathon training perspective, I think a 10 miler is good. Like Sabrina with that, I think it's long enough to feel that you've done something. I think you get that sense of achievement at the end of it. And then if that is, if you're training for the half marathon, once you get to that point, you've got 5K left to finish that up for the half marathon day, and you can push through that. So I do like a 10 miler, and you can play around, I think to Camman's point there, you can play around with pace and kind of mix it up. For marathon training, I like a 20 miler, but Sabrina's made me consider it a little bit now, because I'm going from the aspect of getting it completed and that sense of achievement, and just knowing that on the day you are, you're going to have 10K left, and you can put, whatever it takes, you'll push through that 10K. But I hadn't really thought about it from the perspective of, as you said, Sabrina, if it goes wrong, it's your last long run, and actually what that could do for you. But yeah, 20 miler for me, I like that. Like we did 21 miles the other day, and it was nice. I really enjoyed those longer distances and getting out there and stuff. But totally get it is a time investment, and you have to get up. Like we were up and started at 7 a.m. on a Saturday.
Yeah.
I mean, that is early. Sorry, I'm just looking at all the comments.
You're getting hammered. Brilliant.
I'm neither a pilot nor an air traffic controller, I'm afraid.
I'll tell you what,
Close.
you make a very good one.
Thank you.
Yeah, but you used to be an air
What's the word? Air hostess? What are you going to say?
I was about to. I was like, flight attendant. There we go.
Flight attendant. I did, yes. So
what airline?
Virgin.
What a legend.
Hero status.
He would never put you in 1A.
You still get discount.
What?
Do you get any discount?
Do we get discount, Ben?
Not for any
We've got to
particular
go
reason,
Vegas.
but
Yeah, put in the code 40
I'm
runs.
into flight.
The code is 40 runs on the Virgin website. See what comes out. Yeah, that's true. Let's try it.
If it works, let me know.
Yeah, I think we should get a Virgin code for everybody, so we can all go Vegas and do rock up and roll down wherever it's called, down the strip. That'd be awesome.
It would be great for everyone that's actually allowed in Vegas.
Yeah, let's move on. Anyway, so I'm with you on. I'm going to pick a bit of everything actually, because I'm with Toby on the 4 miler. I love a 4 miler because with a 4 miler you can do, like Toby said, a bit of everything. Some days it's just an easy recovery run. Other days you can just go out and burn it out, and whatever pace you've got that day you can do. And it is a good one for 5K training, because if you go out all out in a training run for 4 miles, you've got stuff in the bag for a 3 mile effort. So I'm with Toby on that one. I really do like a 4 miler.
Can I just say, I prefer 5 to 4.
So do I. 5, 10, 20.
Yeah, okay. I get that. I get
I
that.
like the number 5 more.
And I like the number 10 and 20 if we're going down that route.
I don't care much for 10 milers.
Oh.
I just think I'd rather do 13. I'd rather do a half. It just I tend to, I don't know with 10 mile, I tend to get a little bit like, is it over yet? Sort of, it's that sort of boring middle ground between something. I don't know. I always struggle with a 10 miler mentally more than anything else. I just thinking all the time, can I turn around and go home yet? Sort of thing. I don't know. I don't particularly care for them. That said, they are incredible. If you're doing, like you guys said, you're absolutely right. If you're doing half marathon training, right, it's the one to do. We've said it before on other podcasts. It is the one to go for, but I just don't care for them. I just think,
should I be offended? Did we
no,
go for 10 miles on Monday?
I enjoyed that, but
okay, just check it.
And they're very good to have in your training plan. Whatever, half or marathon, whatever you're doing, or even if you're just going out there because you like to run, like me, a 10 mile is a good one to do because it's that sort of medium distance. You are gonna really put a bit of build into your work, into your week. By doing that middle distance run, you will get a good benefit from it. especially if you sort of break it up, easy out, cane it back, or, whatever you want to do within that. There's plenty of scope to change that run into something that's quite productive. As we always say, make sure every run has a purpose, yeah? But for me, I just find them a little bit anxious. I just go, 4 miles, still got a mile to go, sort of thing. But I'm with you on the 20 miler. I do like an 18, and I do like a 60. But for me, I'd happily do, if time permitted and body permitted at the moment, but I would do 20 miles every weekend. I like the battle of doing it. I like the war in my mind to get that to that halfway and go, right, now we're going to sort of try and kick on a bit here, or I've got to keep this easy. I've got to drill out the time on feet. And I know that those 20 milers, if I do a fair amount of them and build that sort of stamina into me, I know I'm going to feel that come race day. I feel I'm going to feel the benefit of that. I'm not saying to do them every weekend is good, but I think if you can mix those up and do a heavy amount, for me, I really enjoy that. I'd much rather do 20 miles than 16. Although a good 16 miler at goal pace, target pace, or whatever is cracking to do. It's an amazing thing to go out and do, especially if you are, in that marathon training mode. But I would happily do 20-mile runs every weekend. And I think it's like anything, isn't it, though? It's just like if you was doing half marathon training, to go out and do 10 miles every weekend would be really good. I think it's just getting into that consistency and getting into that rhythm of doing them. And then once you get used to doing them, 10 miles, 20 miles, whatever it is, you can then start playing with them, because the distance is not an issue. The time on feet is not an issue, because you're comfortable, competent at running that time, distance, whatever it is. Then you can start playing with it. Then you can start adding pace. Then you can start going slower, because again, you want to be going some of those easy as well, right? So you can really play around with them. But I think finding and that's why I want to talk about it briefly today, was to find some of these training sessions that you can fall in love with can be really key, And again, it's the same if you're doing Couch to 5K, to find that, you're probably doing 3 efforts a week, to find that one maybe where you're trying to go for the full, 20 minutes of running before you get that walk or whatever, that finding that session, finding that run in the week where it has that purpose, that is that confidence builder, along with everything else you're doing.
I think what's interesting is that what we're all saying is variety is important, though. So if we were to do the same distance at the same pace, 3, 4, 5, how many times you run a week, it's not good for us, right? Mentally and physically, because there's no gain. So you need to mix it up with the shorter ones and the longer ones, whatever your favorite may be. So if your favorite is 10K, just doing 10K 5 times a week. If you're looking just to plod and have a great time and maintain, fine, right? That's great. But if you're looking to build it into some kind of training plan,
structure.
Yeah, you need the structure and you need the variety, because you've got to do the stuff that you like as well as the stuff you don't like, because physically there's a benefit, but also mentally there's so much to gain. So Chris, you just said you like the 20 mile because you like the mental battle.
Yeah, because I know in the race I'm gonna have to deal with that. So I like the fact of having to deal with it, and I really feel the benefits of doing those 20 milers. Although I've done hardly any in this training block, which is another reason why I'm so depressed. But anyway, it is what it is. And now I'm going to turn this around on you. Oh, right, you ready, Toby? You ready for this? You look ready. Why's your line? You look rather yellow, Toby.
No one can see his face.
No, that's deliberate because he's got a tattoo on. He's got a new tattoo. If you want to know what Toby's new tattoo is, contact me and I'll tell you what it is.
No, that I don't.
Have you got a matching one?
No, but that's a good idea.
No, it's never going to happen.
And anyway, we're going to turn this around. So we've said the ones we like. You said kind of admin ones you don't like, but I'm going to come back and get into that a bit more. Tobe, what training session, do you really sort of either avoid, detest, hate, but you sort of just sort of begrudgingly do it? What's a session that you really don't like doing?
Well, I don't begrudgingly do it because I just don't do it. I'm sort of like, at the moment, and this has changed, but at the moment it's any sort of long tempos.
Okay.
Just because I haven't done them for ages. All my running seems to be just fairly easy. That makes sense.
Yeah, but you're training for. Oh no, we can't say that. Karen, not training for anything.
Not training for anything particular.
No.
Yeah, so that's the kind of thing I know I need to go and do, but I just don't. And part of that is that I don't have any kind of training plan or structure to go, right, that is what today's run is. So I'll just go out when I get time and run and see what happens. Although if you put a pair of Boston 12s on, sometimes you do end up going a bit quicker than you expect.
But that's not a bad thing, right? Again, people listen to this, there's a lot of people out there, they don't have training plans. They're just running because they like running. They're running for whatever reason, lose a bit of weight, whatever, right? And
yeah, there's nothing against it. It's more just it means that you don't do certain sessions that if you were potentially training for something, that you should probably do.
Yes.
But if you're not training for anything, then just going out and just running with your mates and try not to kill them is
20 miles, break time.
Fine.
Yeah, okay. All right. So you don't like tempo runs at the moment, I would say. Let's put that down as that. Right, Benny boy, this is your captain speaking.
I think for me, hill repeats is something I don't really like, but when we do them on a Tuesday night at Hertford, I do really see the benefit. And actually our last session, where we've been focusing a lot on cadence from that perspective, and it's really changed my mindset on it in terms of how I'm, I suppose, posture for doing hills, that actually I've translated more into my everyday running and making sure I've got my hips forward and stuff like that. And I think I'm now seeing the benefit of it, but I don't think I do enough. And I think I generally do tempo work and not enough hill work. So that's something, once this marathon block's done and I move into the next one in the spring, I'm going to try and incorporate a little bit more hill repeats.
So I've just had a brilliant idea.
God.
Tobe, you should do tempo runs with Ben, and Ben, you should do hill repeats with Tobe, because Tobe loves a good hill repeat.
I know he ran that session.
We should combine.
Yeah, so there you go. That could work. So Tobe, when you're training for next year's event, which you're not allowed to talk about, then you could do that. Admin, you said about the 20 miler, but what else?
Do you know what I'm not really good at doing? So I think I've got much better at doing that kind of tempo stuff and over a better distance, rather than doing it over 3 miles, over like 6 or 7 miles now. The bit that I haven't been very good at doing is the really short, hard and fast stuff, right? So I neglect my 5K. I would love to crack a decent 5K time.
What's your 5K PB at the moment, out of interest?
Like 25 and a half, 26 minutes.
They're still not hanging about.
Yeah, it's great, right? But I'd love to run under 25, but I don't ever.
You could do that tomorrow. I'm not being funny.
Yeah, apparently.
Are you doing park run tomorrow?
No, I've got 18 miles.
I was going to say, because just you could go and smash that out tomorrow.
We can still do the first 5K under 25 minutes.
Yeah, why don't you do the first 5K in under 25 minutes and then carry on?
Because that's not my plan right now, isn't to run a fast 5K. My plan is to run.
When you come out of marathon training,
right?
When
I come out of marathon training, we're going to.
When you've won Chicago Marathon, I think you should have a go at these times. So, what's your 10K time at the moment?
52 something, 52:30.
You don't wear a Garmin, do you?
No.
Yeah, I was going to say we could have gone to the predictors. But I think both of those for you are very, very achievable in terms of beating them at the moment.
Yeah.
We got the track 5K, right? Coming after Chicago.
Too close to Chicago. But there's a couple of other ones in my head that I think this year that I will go to and I will see what happens. So
which one today? So everyone can come along and watch.
No. I'm not telling anyone. You are the last person I'm going to tell.
That's not very nice, is it? Does PB know?
Nope.
Oh.
No
My
pressure.
Stephen is so long. I think she's ignoring me.
She's got her favourites and you're not one of them.
There you go. See? There you go. Left it there. Right, so you don't like the speed sessions is what you're saying?
Yeah. Do you know what, actually? What I don't mind is I don't mind doing an interval session. So if you go, we're going to do 2 minutes on, 2 minutes off, 3, whatever, all of that kind of stuff, I will commit to that. But I don't do well at going, right, I'm going to go and do 5K and I'm going to go hard. Right. I just won't do it. It's a mental thing for me.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
So again, I think what we've established there is that if we do a bit of the stuff that we don't like, we're all going to benefit from it, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the key to this, isn't it? It's like if you can enjoy the ones that your favourite sessions, like try, because they're always good, they're confidence builders and stuff like that. Even if you're right, sometimes they don't go according to plan, but you can always get a benefit out of them. And then then think to yourself, you know what, I bloody hate that. But they're the ones that really, you know what, they're probably the ones that will do you some good.
But also, like, we are so fortunate, right? I know we kind of touched on it, I think last week. We're talking about like running with your mates and whatever else. I know if I said 1 week, right, boys, I want to go and run 25 minutes, or I want to go and try and do this, guaranteed, and I, not in an arrogant way, but one of you would go, all right, I'll come. So yeah, do you know what I mean? He'd go, all right, cool, let's just go and see what happens. And if it works, it works. If it don't, it doesn't, right? So, and it's interesting, we were just saying, like, Toby loves a hill repeat, Ben hates them. Ben will just go and run tempo runs. So there is also that bit, which is why people benefit when they come to our group on a Tuesday night, because you do the stuff you don't like, but you do it together. So it just doesn't feel like a chore. And then suddenly 30, 40 minutes later, you're like, oh, God.
That's true. That's true. And I'll tell you what, it's a good example of that, talking about that. Shout out to Sam at North London PB's group. Mm-hmm. So again, guys, if you're listening to this for the first time, you haven't got a clue, but we've got over 30 satellite groups in the country, in the UK, right? The list is on the website, or get in the Facebook group. We can tell you where they are. But I think you're absolutely right. Going along to and then people just like us, right? Just like you, listen to this. But going along to them, you're going to do stuff with those people that you might get you out of your comfort zone. And a good example is Sam smashing it up the hill on Thursday. Ben, you were there. So what was that? Fill the guys in on that.
So that was amazing. So Sam spoke to PB earlier in the summer, and there is it is a hill. I'm not joking. I was like, "Are we at the top yet? Are we at the top yet? Are we at the top yet?" I hadn't realised how steep it was. And Sam had said she'd wanted to run. She hadn't ever run all the way to the top. So last night was the task, and I said to her I was going to run next to her. I was channeling my inner Fordy, and I was like, "I'll sing to you. I'll start shouting cowboy up at you."
Not to look at the floor.
I that was my third one, but she didn't need it at all. And genuinely, we chatted. I talked at her the whole way up. I think it takes her mind, or took her mind off of it, and she got to the top, absolutely smashed it. And that sense of achievement, it was so great to see. And we were talking generally about how we all celebrate each other's achievements as well, and it's amazing. I think just seeing that, and that was one of Sam's targets, and the fact that she, you can see the improvement, and just doing that, it was fantastic last night.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of running with her on Tuesday at club. She's just done amazing this year. Really, it's just incredible. But yeah, so it goes back to what you were saying. I mean, in terms of these sessions that we're saying, the ones you like and the ones you don't like. Sometimes if you go along to some of these sessions that we put on, you might do something that maybe is a little bit out of your comfort zone, but because everybody's doing it, it might spur you on. Then you go away and take that away and do that on your own because you've got the confidence of doing it. So again, that's where the club and the community becomes powerful. That we've created, and I think that's one of the amazing things about it, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's important to track your progress on those. I'm just looking at Mark, who comes on a Tuesday night as well, and his improvement. Mark? Not Nunu, Mark.
Laura Mark.
Laura Mark. Oh, if you said Laura Mark, I'd know Laura Mark. I mean, don't confuse me. We've got Luke Bob. We've got what's the other one who's come? John, who's come along now.
No, Max.
Yeah, new John.
New Chris.
New Chris is there.
But yeah, so Laura's Mark, just so you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Look at his progress this year as well. And I think, was it last weekend or the weekend before? I think he'd put on the group about smashing a 25-minute 5K. Yeah. And when he started with us, what was it? Just over the 30-minute mark. And he's talking about is tracking that improvement. And I think for, come into the satellite groups, is almost that perfect opportunity, because I think if you run by yourself, you do tend to avoid the sessions that you don't like. Like for me, I wouldn't ever really do a hill repeat by myself, and so I need that. You need that push to get out your comfort zone. And Chris, as you said, it's about getting that comfort with it, seeing that progress, and then it gives you a bit more inspiration to go out there and do it yourself. Really,
that's the thing. We make the. I mean, we do coach sessions, so it's slightly different to what the other ones are doing. But the reason we do the coach sessions the way we do them is so you guys can take those sessions away and put them into your week if you need to. So I don't know if you can't get to every session or whatever, but you can take that session and you can go, right, I'm going to now put that, and I'm going to take that and I'm going to redo that. We always make sure that everything we do, you can do by yourself. That's one of the key things. Obviously, that when we're coming up with these sessions is that one, every single person can do it. It doesn't matter whether you're a 2.5 hour marathon or an 8 hour marathon or somebody getting off the couch to get to 5K. The sessions, everybody can do them. The second thing is the fact of they are transportable. So you can go, you know what, I really like that session. I'm going to do that myself on Saturday because I really felt, and actually I feel like I could push myself a little bit more on that. And I think that's the thing with it as well. So yeah, that is true. I mean, it goes back to what we said. That's the power of these satellite groups that we've created, and there's going to be more of them coming, and they're going to grow. So stand by. But as I always say, get on the train now, people. I think it's almost actually left the station. You really, if you want to be on board, you probably need to be running after it to try and jump. Like in the movies, where they try, or like Toby. Listen to this. When you see the cowboys on the horses along the side trying to jump onto the train. Have you ever seen that?
I haven't, no.
I
don't know a cowboy, so.
I think, by the way, I'm now addicted to TikTok. Just put it out there, right? Because I was watching these bull riders on TikTok. Because there's, I don't know if you've seen this happening, but you can watch like cowboys on there, bull riders, country singing.
You can watch anything on there.
Huh?
You can watch anything.
It's so good. And all you can do is you can flick through and you can watch all the stuff on PBR and you can watch people on the ranches. It's so good.
Right. Anyway, we're not talking about ranches tonight.
I'm just saying.
We're going to move on from that. So, I mean, I can't believe we've got to 52 minutes.
How?
Is it a mess again? Can someone let us know if it's a mess?
I think we've actually added some value. We've spoken quite honestly about what we like and what we don't like. And I think.
Well, I want that. If that's the case, I want whoever wrote that, I want them to write an apology and say this episode is brilliant.
Right. Well, whoever that was, I don't know who it was, but hopefully they come back then and say that. All right. Other than you, you are going to run this weekend.
Yeah.
What's everyone doing? And what are our plans for the next week? Then what's going on?
Well, hang on a minute. Because you're moving to Chicago, so you're doing 18. Yeah. Where are you in your plan?
We are 5 weeks out, I think, after this weekend. So, but I've got 18. I've got the Great North, which is a half, and then I've got my 20 miler, and that's it. I then taper.
And you're done. Then you're tapering. Speed go. Let's move on.
It's an audio-based format, so they can't see you winking. So for anyone that's listening,
he won't know. And then I think it's true though, because people have been training hard for the Great North Run, so that's going to come to a climax real soon. You had people who are training. I know the relay is a big event at the big half this weekend. There's a lot of people doing the relay, which is kind of cool as well. So that's a big deal. There's loads of stuff. There's a few 20-mile races around the country. There's all sorts of it. It's proper kicking off this weekend. I think it's sort of, let's say, racing season's back this weekend.
And the sun's coming for it as well.
What's that, Toby?
Sun's coming out as well for it.
Yeah, next week. Toby, that's good news. I could not wear my topless. But then again, I have to be running, I suppose. But yeah, it's proper kicked off, isn't it? The season sort of starts again, sort of next week, I guess, and then it rolls all the way through. I've got a question though before we go. In October, Toby, just ignore this, right? What other races are there? Apart from I know Chicago marathons.
Yeah, so you've got Chicago, you've got the Great South Run, you've got the Oxford Half.
Half, that's one.
Yeah, you've got
Valencia Half.
Half. Chester Marathon, York Marathon, Dublin Marathon. I think they're all October. Go on, Toby.
Royal Parks.
Yeah.
What about Royal Parks?
There's a little 5K apparently in somewhere overseas.
Richmond.
Yeah, there we
Yeah,
go.
you got the bobble hat run as well at Chicago. Famous bobble hat run.
Can I just say, I can't wait to come back with my bobble hat.
Me too. I can't wait for Lulu to get me mine.
How are you getting one?
Huh?
I'm not getting one.
Lulu's getting me one.
No, she's not.
She is.
She's not. I'll talk to her about it.
I'm getting one, aren't I?
No,
yeah,
you're not.
Ben.
You are such a sucker. You are. Honestly, it's unbelievable.
Loch Ness Marathon. Bam Bam's doing that. Good boy. You look after yourself.
Hero.
Oh, do you know the other one, which Gemma and the Postie, I think, are up for? Beachy Head.
Oh yes.
That is one. I tell you what, that's hardcore. That is. That's Amsterdam as well. But that is mental, that Beachy Head. I've done some of that for Ragnar. And that's not something I would ever want to willingly go back. I think someone would have to pay me a lot of money to go and do that.
How much? And how long will you be away for?
I'm not doing camping again, Toby.
No, I was just wondering how long you'll be away for if we pay for you to go and do it.
I think I don't think I'd ever come back from it. I might die out there.
How much?
And technically, did you do camping?
Yeah, I did do camping. Watch the video.
To be fair to him, he did camping. The only part of camping he didn't really do, which may have been slightly well edited, is putting away a dinner.
And cooking.
He didn't cook anything.
I had a chef.
Quite clear in the video.
I didn't need to cook. I had a chef. I brought a chef with me.
Or take a towel.
No, I did. That was not on the list. That was not on the list. If you don't know what we're talking about, watch our camping video, by the way. If you've not seen that, watch our camping video. It's out on the YouTube channel. Yeah, I think, but yeah, I don't do camping. But yeah, I wouldn't do Beachy Head. Mark's doing Beachy Head as well. I wouldn't fancy that really. That's too hardcore. It's like UTMB. Them nutters doing that this week. I mean,
where was that? Chamonix. Yeah, that is mad, isn't it?
That's crazy stuff that these guys do and girls. It's absolute madness. But yeah, bring it down a notch. Is that sort of that Beachy Head thing? Just that honestly, I've done some of those hills when we was doing Ragnar. It's hardcore. It is. I mean, Posty and Jem could do it like probably in their sleep because they're just amazing runners. I don't think I've got the mental aptitude. I think I just give up.
I think that's what that is.
It's hilly, but it's the wind. It just comes. You're right on the coast up high.
Yeah, it's a funny weekend to do it as well, isn't it?
What, end of October?
Yeah.
You'd
thought you'd probably want to do that sort of like June sort of time when it's getting nice, but it's not overly hot. Like, that would be a good time to do it.
I mean, I reckon you could do it in the middle of the summer and it would still be breezy over there.
It's not one that's ever appealed to me.
Toby, do you not fancy that?
Yeah, Toby, you could do that. You should cowboy up and do that, Toby.
Maybe.
When is it?
October.
He can't. He's busy in October.
And you got the Hertfordshire 50k in October.
What's that?
50k ultra in October.
Where? In Hart?
In Hertfordshire.
What, you're doing an ultra?
Around Epping Forest. No, I can't do it because.
Oh.
But maybe next year.
Oh, right. Okay. We're doing an ultra, are we, Toby? How far is it?
50k.
When is it?
I can't reveal that information.
Do I have to do camping?
No.
Only if you get lost and have to stay the night. So don't.
Okay, I'm up for that, Toby. Can't be that hard, can it?
Wow. On that note.
Yeah. On that note, we're gonna go now. Thank you, everyone. Oh, what's that? High Rocks, Toby. What's that? Is that one of them?
That's one of those exercising type things, isn't it? Nah, don't do that.
That ain't him.
Running and bumping, X on that.
No, he doesn't do that. He doesn't. And
where
will he put his steering wheel?
Triathlon?
I'm up for a triathlon next year, Toby.
All right, you swim.
Oh, Trace wants to do a triathlon as well.
Oh, what, next year?
Yeah.
I'll do a triathlon.
I might have another swim to do next year, so we'll hold on.
Here you have. We're going to teach.
Oh, but I asked someone today, by the way, if you could stand up in that serpentine thing.
No.
I don't think that's right. I think you should be able to stand up if you want. If you want to have a little break, I think you should be able to stand up.
I thought you should be able to take one of those pedalo things with you.
No, I'm being serious, right? If you get knackered, right, through that 2 miles, because it's a long way, yeah. And I think you should be able to stand up and have a little breather. I don't see the point. I think it's unsafe that you can't stop.
What about those little lilo? You know the bed lilos. You know, take one
I'm being really serious. I asked a lady on Facebook today, "Can you stand up in the circle?"
No, you can't.
Why? But then it shouldn't be able to do. It's not safe. What happens if I get tired, right, and I need a break?
You're meant to have trained for it.
No, that's not fair.
If you just turn up,
tired, then what am I meant to do?
Where's Simon going to have a lie down?
Yeah, that's true.
He can float.
Seriously, whereas if I get tired, what am I going to do?
tread water, breathe.
Then you get more tired.
Hold on to a rescue boat. I don't know, but you can't stand up in the Serpentine.
Why not?
There's no hills.
Yeah, but it's true, though. What about around the edge? Can you stand up around the edge in the reeds?
No, you can't get to the edge. You're thrown in the middle. There's no edge.
Yeah, just swim out to it. If I do it, I'm swimming around the edge of it because there's all these nutters in the middle going 3,000 miles an hour, which is brilliant. That's awesome. But I'm going to be doing a little bit of breaststroke around the edge. Keep my little head above water. Don't get in my eyes. Don't want to get that rat's wee in my eyes. I keep going there. And because you figure the amount of toot that's in that Serpentine, you'll all come out of there with something, right? It's true. And yeah, you might as well just you might as well go to someone's toilet, empty the toilet into a bucket and pour it over your head. That's what it's probably like going in the Serpentine. But I'm going to swim around the edge of the Serpentine. I want to know if you can stand up on the edge of the Serpentine.
You can't, I don't think. My brother-in-law's doing it. My brother-in-law's doing it in a couple of weeks' time. I'll ask him.
Can you ask?
He's getting his classics medal actually, which is amazing. But
I got a better idea. When we're at the weekend, I will divert and take Chris there and just push him off the edge and see if he can stand up.
It's a good point, though, right?
On Sunday, yeah.
I'm being genuinely serious.
I'll film it.
I want to know if you can stand up and get out. If you're not very.
We're going to find out Sunday.
Answers to be revealed on Monday, right?
Oh,
if he's at bite size or not, we'll know. On that note, bite size Monday night, 8:00 with Chris on YouTube.
Oh, it could be a good show, by the way. I can't tell you why, but it could be a good show.
God knows.
I had a brilliant
Thank you,
idea.
everyone, for all your comments. It's been brilliant. Please do leave us a review over on Apple, Spotify, all of those things. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to contact us, it is fordyruns.com/longrun-show. And as we said at the beginning, thank you to our sponsors at Skechers. Head over to skechers.co.uk and please do keep using the code at Start Fitness for 10% off, which is Fordy Runs. And we will see you. We won't see you next Friday. The Great North Run pre-record goes out next Friday. So do listen to that if you're doing it next weekend or just want to kind of understand a bit more about it. So, yeah, we're going to go over and record that now. So thank you, everyone. Good night, and we'll see you soon.